Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. In this episode, we are talking to Janani Porkodi on corporate gifting.
Hi, Janani. Thank you for accepting my invite to appear in the podcast. How are you doing today?
Hey Venkat, I'm doing great and thanks a lot for having me.
Okay, wonderful. I would like to know a bit about your background, where you're from.
So I'm basically from Chennai. So I did my engineering in computer science and after that went on to work in a couple of IT companies. And I always had the idea that I wanted to start a business. So that thing was always there in mind. But for multiple reasons, I had to work and keep that thing going. But later I thought maybe I should give it a shot now, or maybe if I don't now, then it'll never happen. So I just decided at one point, planned to quit my job and take up a business opportunity. So I was exploring multiple options on which direction I want to go. Gifting kind of worked out for me. I was getting a lot more business there. So I thought, let's take this up as a startup and work on it. So that is how gifting started. And it's been a year and a half since we started the company. It's been an interesting journey so far. Still in a very early stage, a lot more to come.
What led you to choose social enterprise? What is the thought process that went through you when you decided to go in this line of business?
So there are a couple of things. So we work a lot on eco-friendly products. So that is one thing. And we also try to adapt products that are done by small businesses or women-led brands or rural products or things like that. But if you see, the both are kind of connected. When we started working, some of the initial requirements that we got were around sustainable gifts and eco-friendly options. When I was looking at that market to understand scope in this particular area, the scope seemed pretty interesting because a lot of companies are moving towards eco-friendly sustainability. For me also personally, I myself try to do a few things that are kind of sustainable and eco-friendly. So I thought it aligned well with my own values and things like that. So I thought let's probably focus more on that area. And when you look at eco-friendly or sustainable products, a lot of these products are made by hand, by artisans. For example, if you even take a bamboo basket, the bamboo basket is completely handmade most of the times. And it's done by a lot of women working out of rural areas and things like that. So that is how it actually, when we started with the eco-friendly products, it went in the direction so that we got an opportunity to work with a lot more small businesses and women-led brands. The beauty about women-led brands is there are a lot of women-led brands that focus on healthy snack options, healthy sweet options. I personally feel very, very happy to include those products in my hamper because it's not just another product for these people who make it. They actually put in a lot of thought process. They actually make sure they use the right ingredients. They make sure it is quite healthy. All of these are taken care, and so much care and love is actually put into making these products. That adds to the whole vibe of the hamper. Instead of just putting four products that are factory made, handmade by different people in different areas who actually put their heart and soul into building something, it's a very, very beautiful thing actually for us to make it and even for people who actually receive it. So these are some things that actually make me feel very happy, and it in turn becomes helping all of these artisans and women-led brands also. So there are a lot of brands, there are a lot of people who do these kind of products. I definitely, whenever possible, personally also I try to get those products, and I would highly recommend people to do that as well. That is something, that is how this journey actually went by, Venkat.
What kind of challenges and struggles that you faced when you started this?
See, I wouldn't say struggles, but it's all challenges. So that's the way I actually look at it. How you handle it and how you overcome it is all about it. There are a lot of challenges, of course, that we face. A lot of external dependencies there in this particular line of business. Not everything is dependent only on us. Like, for example, if you have to curate a hamper and say it has 5 or 6 products, now you're dependent on 5 or 6 different vendors to get all those products and then pack and send it. There's very less control on certain things. So that is a major challenge. One more major challenge again in this particular line of work is there is a lot of timeline pressure, because when we work for an event or when we work for an occasion, the product has to go out by the given time. So if there is even a day of delay, then probably the hamper is not going to be required anymore. So that is how it becomes. So these are some of the challenges that we face. You have to have the right mindset to take up any challenges that come.
It's pretty interesting that you mentioned about the timeliness about delivering these things. So, what are some kind of strategies that you use to make sure that you deliver on time?
The first thing is about setting the expectation right with the client. Now, if we have enough time, then we are all good. But there is some kind of very last minute order when there's limited, very, very limited time. And second thing is when we have to work work on that kind of a very time constrained order, we make sure we commit to products or whatever is only doable. So not overcommit to the client and then struggle. So we try to give them options only based on what is available, what can be done in the very short timeline. That helps us to manage these kind of last minute orders or rush in the timeline. Specifically, when we have to work with these kind of orders, we make sure we just work with certain vendors. Only with the vendors that we know are 100% reliable, can just give as committed on point, we just work with them. So these are a couple of things that we take care to make sure, try to manage time.
Can you share some examples of how the people who are doing the supply for you, for example, the rural people, how their work has touched you at any point of time, and how you felt really happy working with them and making their livelihood happen and things like that? So maybe can you give a couple of examples?
This is not like exactly rural, but this is this one particular brand that we work with. This brand actually does a lot of products that are completely organic, including food and including home household products and things like that. So last Diwali, we kind of collaborate and we actually suggested using no white sugar sweets to our clients. See, if you see Diwali, mostly a lot of sweets are actually exchanged during the Diwali time. Sweets, if you see, predominantly is all made with white sugar. There's a lot of discussion that keeps going around how white sugar is quite unhealthy in most places. When we were actually suggesting hampers and sweets last Diwali, we were suggesting no white sugar sweets, and that was actually a good hit. A lot of companies actually preferred their sweets over white sugar sweets. The way personally also I look at it is, when you're giving something to someone, you have to make sure you give something only that you would use. Just randomly giving something to someone, if you wouldn't use that personally for yourself, then it's not the right thing to do. So that way we were working a lot and using a lot of their sweets. That's something personally I felt very happy, because we were able to give a healthy alternative as compared to the regular white sugar sweets that we work.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. We talked a lot about your work. What do you do apart from work as a person? What are your hobbies and interests? How do you spend time apart from work?
I like travel a lot. So I try to take breaks, go on trips. That kind of keeps me alive. So if you ask me what I'm doing when I don't travel, then probably I'm researching about travel, researching about a place to go, looking at videos and different things to do in a particular place and exploring. And I like going on drives. I really enjoy driving car. So I really enjoy going on a long drive with probably a friend, having an interesting conversation. So those are some things that I really enjoy doing.
So, how many countries have you visited so far?
So far, I think I've been to 13 or 14. Long way to go still, but yeah, it's still a good start.
Okay, wonderful.
See, personally, I am a person who cannot sit in one place and do something for a really long time. So I have the difficulty. So that is why I kind of like travel. I like to go around, doing cafe hops, meeting friends. So these are things that I really enjoy. If you ask me to sit in one place and probably do something like a painting or something and all that, is like something that is totally not possible for me. But if you ask me to keep going around the entire day and keep roaming, I like happily do that. So that's the kind of person I am.
So let's talk a bit about the societal issues that you care about. Of course, you are working on enabling livelihoods and helping through your company. What are the things that bother you, or you want to do something about it, which you probably might not have had a chance so far to do something about, or you're already doing something about it, or anything like that?
I mean, definitely there are a couple of things. A couple of years back, I signed up for a beach cleanup activity with the community. So we went, like, I think a good bunch of people went early in the morning to one of the beaches here in Chennai. I think we did a cleanup activity for about 2 hours, and there were like bags and bags of trash that we collected. That one incident actually did change a lot of things within me, because I was doing a lot of things pretty unconsciously, not giving a lot of thought into where I probably throw the trash and things like that. But that kind of changed it for me a lot. I became this very conscious person that I never throw garbage around anywhere in any place. Even for example, even when I go on a road trip or something like that, if I have like folks coming along with me, we have this tendency, right, of just putting the car glass down and just throwing things outside. I'll tell my friends or whoever comes with me, just put whatever trash you have right inside the car. I will make sure I clean it, but please don't throw things from the car onto the road. This is something that I find it to be a huge problem where people are not mindful about what they do. You go to the beach, you buy a snack, you just eat it and just you throw the cover right there. Do you even care about who's going to clean it up, who's going to pick it up? But then what you would do is you would be looking at Instagram and looking at a video where they say save the planet, or they say did a beach cleanup and things like that. You'll be probably going and putting a like there. What's the whole point? You have to change things first personally, and only then things will change globally also. These are some small things that can be done that is in our own scope, where be minimal in things that you do. Don't go around throwing trash. We start doing these kind of things ourselves, then the collective impact is going to be lot more than we can actually think of. Being mindful of what kind of products you buy, what kind of brands you buy from, all of this actually makes a lot of impact. We might keep complaining that probably the government is not taking care and not keeping the places clean and things like that, but are we doing what we have to do? Are we taking the step that is in our scope? No, but we just go out and complain. I think if we do that very first step, automatically things will change. It feels really hurting for me when I probably am going the road and there's school bus or college bus that's going before me, and then somebody in the bus just probably eats a chocolate or a biscuit and just throws the wrapper right out. I mean, what's the whole point of an education if you don't have this basic simple thing of being mindful?
The real challenge is how do we communicate this to this huge population of people, and especially to the children. The education that needs to be done is quite a lot. Don't do this, don't do that, and do this and do that. It's quite challenging, and they are under already a lot of pressure to learn so many things. Added to them, this civic sense also needs to be taught.
You don't have to teach civic sense. You have to just behave. You just have to do it. Now, as a parent, if you are doing certain things, you don't have to explicitly teach your child to do something. They will automatically pick it up from you. So where are they picking up the whole thing of throwing things around? Probably this you're something you're doing that, they're following it. So if you are taking the steps of not throwing the things around, automatically that thing will come to your kid. See, I've seen people who, when people drive on the road, they just don't follow signal. That a lot of people do that. It pains a lot for me when I see people who take the children, who are having the children along with them and not following the rules, not following the signal. How bad is that, right? What are you trying to teach your kids? The impact of not following signal is really huge. These are things that all that you have to do is you just do it on your own, and your kids or the next generation will automatically follow you. So it's as simple as that. Because if you look at in the school, they're probably teaching it. They're already teaching in social science and subjects like that. There are all of these civic topics and all is there. But that is learning. They're learning it. But how do they implement it is by seeing your parents or their elders doing it. If they do it, it'll automatically come.
Let's hope that that happens. All the parents do this and the children will follow. So we are coming towards the end of the podcast. Do you have any questions about the podcast or about me or anything like that?
I mean, the topics, the questions are pretty interesting, Venkat. Not like the regular ones, but more on like the way you explained it to me, how you want to keep the whole tone of the podcast is about more like a lifestyle and things that we want to talk about apart from work, like related to society. The thought process is pretty interesting. I'm just looking forward to a lot more topic discussions from you with a lot of other interesting speakers.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks a lot for appearing in our podcast and sharing your views. I wish you all the best in your life and whatever you aspire to do in life. Thanks once again, and please take care and bye bye.
Sure, Venkat. Thanks a lot for having me. Giving me a platform to voice out some of my opinions. Even if one person doesn't throw one wrapper after hearing this, I would be more than happy about that. Thanks once again for having me, Venkat.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.
That was a nice podcast with Janani Porkodi. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or the sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.